Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the True Esports and Tech Lab. We are so excited to have you all here. My name is Leilani Farinas, and I'm the Executive Director for True. True is a nonprofit organization, and we focus on tech enabling Hawaii. We want to help Hawaii's businesses become more efficient by implementing practical technology to help them be more productive and optimized. By doing so, our local organizations thrive and workers can upskill and earn higher wages. This will allow them to live better lives here in Hawaii. Tech-enabled workers earn 53% more than non-tech-enabled workers. Today, we are excited to launch the True Esports and Tech Lab. This lab will give the community an opportunity to learn about the careers in tech and also give them the ability to learn skills through the entertaining medium of esports and video games. This project has been 6 months in the making, pretty quick. 12 stakeholders across the state, both public and private, coming together to make this lab a reality. I'd like to thank the esports and tech community here in Hawaii. The UH esports team, Sky Kavealoa and JJ Nanquil. The HPU team, Jordan Oliver. Thank you so much to Jonathan Weinberger at Game Dev HQ, who's going to help our community learn. Kason Padilla over at the Hawaii Esports Alliance. And Kyler Tandal, who you will all see in action a bit later on, local boy, EMP Live, he does live streaming for gaming. I'd also like to give a big thanks to the Ōlelo team, Wes Akamine and Todd Yamamoto, for their partnership. Also for the creativity of Eugene and Rochelle over at Eurofilms. This space would not be possible at all without the Hawaii State Library System, HTDC, Office Pavilion, and Hawaiian Telcom. Last but certainly not least, this lab exists through the generosity of Pacxa and Central Pacific Bank Foundation. It's an honor to work alongside True's visionary leadership. Chairman Paul Yonamine and Advisory Board Member Kelly Ueoka. Now, I'd like to welcome Kelly Ueoka to the podium. He will continue our program and serve as today's MC.
Good job. Thank you so much, Leilani. I can hardly contain my excitement. I know it's formal. I joked yesterday I was going to open with something memorable, like, let's get ready to rumble, but then they corrected me saying that's already taken, you can't use that. So I thought of, it's showtime. They said that's already taken. So how about welcome to the official launch of the True Esports Tech Lab at the Waipahu Library. Thank you, Leilani, so much. So just a quick rundown of the schedule this morning. I plan to introduce a video that will showcase what we're trying to achieve at this new facility. Of course, invite some of our distinguished guests like Paul and the Governor to speak and say a few words. And then we will launch into a live gaming exhibition between two very competitive teams. And as Leilani mentioned, we have the best of the best serving as a shoutcaster. And I will do my best to provide what's known as color commentary in the sports industry. But I just wanted to say what an exciting day it is for the Waipahu Public Library and also for our state. As a former collegiate athlete myself, back in the late 90s, if an opportunity like this for esports was available to me at the time, I have to be honest, I really don't know what I would have done. I mean, it's so exciting to see the intersection of competitive gaming and technology, happening globally in a $300 billion industry. The opportunity has become so large, I don't think we can ignore it anymore, especially with educational aspects afforded. So, with that, I wanted to clarify, this is not an arcade. It's really like we talk about a tech lab to use esports as a catalyst for playing and learning. So there's a ton of learning opportunities. We'll focus on game development and what goes into production, as you'll see today. But beyond that, the technology provided is meant to do a lot more than just that. I think, Leilani mentioned earlier the hardware, provided. It's part of a huge $300 billion industry. People may not realize that 45% or 1.48 billion of the world's gamers are based in Asia. And so that does afford Hawaii a very unique opportunity. I think University of Hawaii has hosted twice the Overwatch World Championships because of our connectivity. That provides a huge opportunity because, as you know, if there's a little blip, a microsecond blip that causes somebody to lose a match, people are fanatical about it. So we can capitalize on the opportunity of our unique geography here in the islands. I honestly think it serves as kind of a bridge between the continental US and Asia Pacific. So the opportunities abound, again, because of our geographic uniqueness. With that, I wanted, as I talked about earlier, I really wanted to highlight this video that really will accentuate what esports is and kind of what it means to our community.
Punching bag, whatever you prefer. He's been both tonight. Takes a fair bit of poke damage now, but it's looking for the back line. It's Kai, looking a little vulnerable there. Quickly forming ranks with the rest of his teammates.
And the fate just kind of forces this positioning. They're going to actually get rid of Void on the high ground.
If you look at the very sort of origins of computer history itself, it is filled with references to video games and the inclusion of video games. Video games were very important for technology in general from the very origins of it. But with esports, again, this is something that has been a part of my life from a very early time, but we never called it esports. It was just competitive gaming. And so it has only gotten far more popular, far more relevant, far more visible.
You have individual plays that people can make. That translates over to video games and in basketball. Like, you could have your star player that always goes for like the three-point lineups and like the half-court shots and makes those to like clutch out around for your team. And same thing in video games where you get like these really gifted players that can just carry a team fight.
Video games are really good at helping kids learn communication, being more confident in themselves.
It's their overall character. That's the biggest thing, and how they perform at a team, how they handle stressful situations when they're faced against an obstacle, or when they're almost about to lose, or even when they do lose, how do they respond to that?
I mean, we're talking about like a $1 billion industry. Some of these games are larger than some traditional sports nowadays, and people are filling stadiums for it, millions of viewers online.
The entertainment side of esports is bigger than music and movies combined now. So to funnel it into just gaming really does it a disservice, because esports has grown to be this just massive subset of pop culture and entertainment.
There are a lot of investment capital flowing into esports because of the competitive nature.
This idea of Hawaii being central now to the discussion of global esports is a reality. People are looking to Hawaii now as a premier location, right? Just along with LA, with Seattle, with Texas, Paris and Berlin. These are proper esports hubs. If you look to Asia Pacific, now we have Hawaii.
We have 51 public libraries in the state of Hawaii. I think that they're great libraries, but they're underutilized. They have some of the fastest broadband connectivity in each of the communities that they're in. And just imagine if we can create these esports hubs in public libraries, maybe one day even 51 of them, although that might be a little challenging. But if we could do that, we have this vision that public libraries can become tremendous community centers of young people and other individuals interested in esports to congregate and challenge one another and do something that'll be great for their future careers.
So I think it's important for libraries, particularly public libraries, to have access to esports for the community, because it's this growing profession, but it's not only a growing profession, it's an educational opportunity. Technology is driving how we read, how we look for information. It's changing the way we do all those things. So in order for libraries to be able to continue to support communities, we have to keep evolving with the technology so that we can continue to support people.
We're providing exposure and access to the wider community about ways that they could lean into technology or develop skill sets or explore what it means to have a career in technology or what those careers exactly are.
We can upskill a workforce using game development because it's fun and exciting, it's going to keep you engaged. But the reality is that there's a $1 trillion opportunity to use your skill set globally. And so we actually have students here in Hawaii who started off as bartenders and hospitality workers, hotel shift workers, that went through our program and within 120 days became software engineers working for mainland companies, doing things from virtual reality to games, earning salaries north of $85,000 a year.
I was the top spot in my restaurant, and I couldn't progress anymore after that. It's just, you kind of go in there, make your money, and go. Whereas now I've kind of opened the doors to a new career where, I can look forward to moving up in the ranks and already having a higher base salary than I was making bartending. So it's been a really good transition for me.
It's not as tough as one might think to get into software development. One of the things game dev does really well is they just take you from zero and they start teaching you really simple stuff, and they just sneak it in there one at a time, and before you know it, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of understand how to do this and that now.
I firmly believe that next step into bringing it into the mainstream for our communities is, putting it in our communities. Aside from having school teams, we need to be letting the everyday person have access. That's the key. There's making it accessible to everybody, so they aren't only just hearing about the video games, but they can participate in it, they can be a part of that community actively. And I think the True initiative with the libraries is kind of an unprecedented next step here in Hawaii, for sure.
So the potential on esports, going ahead in the future for the state of Hawaii, anything is possible. This is something that's going to become very community-centric, give a lot of the young people in those areas an opportunity to hone in on esports, on the esports opportunity. And the way I see it, I think we have a really good shot at really making a name in the esports arena here globally as well.
Yeah, so thank you. As you heard, thanks for everybody who participated in that video. I think it's really informative. But as you heard, words like unprecedented and phrases like sky's the limit. I think we're at the crossroads right now, and to partner with an organization like the State of Hawaii Library System, I mean, for me, it's kind of like a dream come true, and it wouldn't have happened without the support of the Hawaii State Public Library System and the state librarian. So with that, I wanted to invite Stacy Aldridge to come say a few words.
Aloha and welcome to the Hawaii State Public Library's Waipahu branch, which now has a new collection. We now have an Esports and Tech Lab collection, and that is the future here. And when I think about video games and I think about the evolution, I remember playing Pong. Some of you may know what Pong is. And being so excited about this simple game that was one little dot going back and forth. You'd play the machine or you would play another person, but you were in the same space. And now to be in this whole new universe of dynamic interconnection, going into the metaverse, and also people playing together in settings like this, but also playing people globally, What an amazing, amazing world it is. And these opportunities that are being created because of an amazing partnership and a community of people who connected each other. So thank you, Senator Wakai, for connecting us to Paul. And thank you. Everybody was connecting, trying to figure out how can we create more opportunities for our communities? How can we make sure kids have access to high-powered machines, high-powered connectivity, so that they can be competitive and they can learn for our futures. I really want to thank everybody who has worked so hard on this, especially Leilani, Fairnath. You are amazing. It would not have happened without all of your, when you said it took 6 months, a lot of projects like this take a year, and you really helped us get there faster, and so thank you so much. I think we should give her a applause. And I want to thank all of the partners who are investing in libraries. These are the future collections to create opportunities for our communities. And I definitely want to thank the legislature for passing SB 2214 and the governor for signing 2214 related to digital literacy and public libraries. This new lab, these new spaces that we're creating are just the beginning of digital literacy in our libraries to help our communities be successful. So thank you very much. Mahalo.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Somebody else that requires no introduction but has been very integral to the True Initiative. In fact, he spearheaded this effort to really help create demand for technology services in the islands, which helps, we talk about it a lot, but it helps create more jobs. It helps creates equitable wage. He's a friend and a mentor. He's also the former president of IBM Japan, so I'm kind of like a fan being in my position as president of a technology systems integrator, but chairman of True executive director of True and chairman of Central Pacific Bank. Without his support, none of this would have been possible. So Paul, maybe please.
Thanks so much, Kelly. That's really nice. I'm so excited, and this is just fantastic. And, my thanks to, Leilani and Kelly as well, and Stacy, thanks so much. I just wanted to share something with you. When my son was about 20, I thought he was playing games too much. And I used to go home and I'd complain to him. And then all of a sudden one day he comes home and he goes, "Hey, Dad, I want to show you the PC I built." And I thought, "You built a PC?" And from that moment on, my whole viewpoint on esports and games just totally changed. I see so many skill sets that could be developed out of this endeavor that are real important life lessons for future careers. So I'm all in on all of this. Kelly and Leilani touched on the True Initiative. This was an initiative that we really kick-started in late 2019. We had this view that if we can tech-enable more workers, they can make a better living here in Hawaii, because the cost of living here is really expensive. We felt that if we can focus on demand generation among private sector organizations, that'd be good. But to really take it up a notch, it was about working closely with the state. And that's when I met with Len Higashi, Mike McCartney, and HTDC, DBED came in there. But really what made a huge difference was when I met with the governor, Governor Ige. And I said, "Governor, we need your commitment and support in working with the private sector to create demand here locally so that all these companies, AWS, Microsoft, Salesforce, and the list goes on and on, that they will be interested in investing in the state of Hawaii." And we had his word, and that's when we started. It was about 4 months before COVID, right? And we went through really tough times during COVID, but we had a lot of great virtual events. And now we're, looking at new initiatives like this today, something that was unimaginable. So with that, I don't want to talk too long because we've got to go to the games right away, right? I'd like to call up the governor of the state of Hawaii, David Ige, who really planted the seeds for us to get this whole thing started. So Governor, please.
Thanks, Paul. I truly appreciate that introduction. But I did want to add, Paul has been chairman of Central Pacific Bank now for about 2 years? 4 years, sorry. Boy, time really flies, because I remember I was there when you began. But I don't know how many of you saw Forbes magazine, but Central Pacific Bank is the #1 bank in the state of Hawaii. He beat out Bank of Hawaii, First Hawaiian. And Paul, I don't know when the last time it was a non-Bank of Hawaii or non-First Hawaiian bank that was the #1 bank in the state of Hawaii. So I really wanted to thank Paul for his leadership and his commitment. Paul and I have known each other for much, much too long. We go back a long ways, but I am so excited about this initiative. When Paul came to talk to me about True, about the whole notion of we need to tech enable our community so we can create jobs locally. And then just talking about this whole notion of accelerating esports and the tech lab here in the community, in Stacy's Waipahu Library, was the perfect response. In the State of the State, I talked about Apaka Kala, the broadband network that we're committed for the first time in the state of Hawaii, a generational investment to bring fiber connectivity, broadband to every single of the major islands. We're building a network so that we can tie all of the 51 libraries together with broadband capacity so that every community can have something like what we are experiencing here today. It is so important to give all of our residents the opportunity to see the future and participate in the future. And I really wanted to congratulate everyone involved with this True Esports and the Tech Lab here. This is the first, hopefully, of 50 others that will follow, because I truly do believe it should be in each and every community. It's exciting to see high-powered personal computers here in the library that can provide a platform to access esports and this learning opportunity. And as Kelly had mentioned, this becomes the classroom of the future. It really does bring together all the components so that residents in this community can see what the future might hold, can learn about careers that might be possible, and most importantly, can truly participate in a productive way to engage in esports in the future. I really do want to acknowledge all the partners, state partners, DBED and HCDC that has been instrumental, and on the private sector side, Paul and the team that really came together to provide us this opportunity. It really is something that, there are many projects that you are kind of connected to and work on, but we will all see that this is one of those that truly exceed expectations. It really gives this community, and hopefully all communities, an opportunity to see tech careers and really pursue them in an earnest way. And I have to admit, as the geek in chief, I learned to code and program by myself as a junior in high school. And I don't want to date myself, but it was about Atari, and the Commodore 64 was the platform of choice, right? I learned to code. I was trying to build that next Pong game as a high school student and as a University of Hawaii student, because my dream always was to become that next great game developer. And now, in this community, all of those pieces and support will be available so that the next generation of youngsters can be exposed and really pursue it in a way that's real. And so congratulations to everybody. I don't want to be the impediment to watching what you guys are really here for, but I'm excited because who knows, I might not have been governor if this was available in Pearl City when I was a junior in high school. My wife keeps saying I really should have built that next game, But the lights went off. Maybe this is what my future holds, is I am going to dive in headfirst in this true sports and esports opportunity, and most importantly, what the Tech Lab brings to our community. So congratulations to everyone involved.
Thank you so much, Governor Ige. I mean, I cannot tell you how much, the similarities of even myself. I started on a Commodore 64, not developing, but playing on a Commodore 64. So with that, thank you very much. We're getting close to the action, but as I was mentioning earlier, I wanted to make a special introduction with the people that we brought in the esports community together. My co-host and fellow shoutcaster. Today will be my first time, so I mentioned color commentary. So if you're familiar with like the NFL, this is like the Joe Buck of esports in Hawaii, and I would be more of a Troy Aikman. But Kyler's story is inspiring, as Leilani was saying. He's a local boy, previously worked as a shipyard mechanic at Pearl Harbor. And in 2018, he started his own firm, EMP Live Designs, to do freelance esports production while employing a production staff. So when I walked in, I was completely blown away at how the commitment to excellence in how they deliver this product. It's much like when we watch, Riot Games, if you're familiar. Like, these are real productions that happen almost daily online with about 30,000 viewers. I mean, the more popular Twitch streamers, worldwide have about 30,000 viewers daily. That's as much people as it can go watch the Lakers play. So the opportunity, again, is real. And we're lucky to have Kyler. Today, Kyler produces collegiate esports full-time while doing freelancing on the side to help grow Hawaii esports along with other projects and, again, the other opportunities that follow, I think, by using esports as the catalyst. Some of the other larger local projects he's worked on included the video game room at KawaiiCon, which is Hawaii's version of Comic Con, if you will. I wore a special Star Wars shirt for the occasion, but it's become a big deal, and it's a very big production that requires a lot of talent and know-how to put on, especially because it's live event streaming that happen online. So the talent that has to be involved with not only playing, but getting the message out to the world is critical to that production. His company, EMP Live, will be live streaming the exhibition match, which I think will be highly competitive. So with that, Kyler Tandle.
Right on. Well, thank you, Kelly, for the glowing introduction. Earlier, when we were rehearsing this, Kelly told me that he was going to give me a glowing recommendation or a glowing introduction, so I appreciate that. But yeah, thank you, everybody, for attending and for being here and being a part of this event. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Paul, and all the other special guests for attending. But really, I just want to start off by saying, events like this are truly incredible for me to watch. As somebody that grew up in the local esports scene, when I got started in 2014, 2015, we didn't have this, right? It was us in a dimly lit room in a gaming cafe, having fun, just enjoying the games themselves. And to look at where we've come to now is really something really incredible. The growth of the esports industry and the awareness of it all is something that I think is really cool. And hopefully we get to show you guys a little piece of that today as we progress to the exhibition match and so on and so forth. But really today, so for those of you that are wondering, okay, so what are we watching? What's about to happen? We are now moving into what I think you'd consider more traditional esports broadcasts, right? The flow of it all and everything. So real quickly, I'll just explain to you for those that don't know, right? We're playing League of Legends today. So as it stands, this is what they call a MOBA, or a multiplayer online battle arena. There'll be a video that'll go over it a little bit more in the details, but basically I want you guys to think of this as almost like a strategy game. Right? These are 5 players going up against 5 players, and they're going to be making decisions on both a micro and a macro scale, meaning split second, half a second decisions, and also planning for the game as it unfolds, right? It's not a 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute experience, but really start to finish, there's a lot of strategy, there's a lot of thinking that goes into it, and this isn't something that they just show up, do something, and they're out, right? There really is a lot of planning. There's a lot of things that goes along with that. So with that said, I just wanted to open that up, preface it, welcome you all, but I'll give the mic back to Kelly so that we can bring in another special guest.
Thank you very much, Kyler. So, oh yeah, thanks, Kyler. Thank you so much. No, with that, so like as I was making the reference of, you know, Kyler being the Joe Buck of Hawaii Esports and Troy Aikman, we got somebody like who's a player and then served as a coach for University of Hawaii Esports. So I guess with that, I wouldn't call him like the Michael Jordan. I would more say like he's the Ja Morant of UH Esports, and we got him to show up today and help us. He's been instrumental to the production, from helping me get the gaming rig set up, from getting the teams together. We really appreciate his support. So JJ Nanquil, he'll be helping us introduce one of the other teams.
Thank you, Kelly, for the introduction. Hello, everybody. My name is Janelle JJ Nanquil, and I am the esports coach for True. I want to thank both my mentors, Sky and Leilani, for helping me out with this position and also providing these PCs as well. This is a great opportunity for the community as a whole and for esports in Hawaii, right? It's amazing. I've been coaching for UH Esports since 2019, so about 3 years, and now I'm coaching for True. So it's an amazing opportunity, and I love this.
Thanks, JJ.
Yep.
So with that, I think we'll be now introducing the talented players coming through the door. So please, JJ, Kyler, take it away.
Yeah, so before we bring them out, we do want to give you guys the little bit of a heads up that these are mixed teams. So this means that these guys aren't just from one location combined, right? They are a true representation of the wide community that we have here in Hawaii. So with that said, and all of that, you know, we'll stop talking now. Let's bring out the players. All right, so on this side of the room over here, we'll introduce the first team coming up on this side, and that is going to be, we have coined them Team Lilac. So starting in our first position is going to be Tanner Kawamura in-game. He goes by Atomic Shadow. Tanner is also a recent graduate of one of my classes. He's taken a production class in Esports 101. He got an A, I think, in it, right, Tanner? You got an A? Yep. So congratulations to Tanner. That's our first player of the day. Next up behind him is going to be John Lee. So John Lee in-game goes by the Noob 27. And according to what they said, so I asked them to give me a fun fact earlier. They told me John needs help with his posture, that he plays lying down. I don't know how you do that, John, but they said he plays lying down. So that's John. Next up in our third slot is going to be Tracy Lee. She also comes from UH Esports. In-game, she goes by Cinnamon. And she told me she's been playing this game for over 7 years. So really, dedication to her game, dedication to League. So everybody, Tracy Lee. All right, next up, following that, this guy, this one I know a little bit more familiar with. As you can see, Nevin, turn around real quick. This is Nevin Isaiah Pack, a.k.a. Pack Games 808. He's representing UH Esports, and he also streams on Twitch, by the way. So when we talk about, you know, streaming and all of this tech initiatives, this is actually one of the guys that does have a Twitch channel, does stream. So once again, Nevin Isaiah Pack. And then last but certainly not least, we have our very special representative from UH West Oahu in Melanie Denda. In-game, she goes by My Heart's Yours, and she is also our rounding out our roster. So when we say community roster, that's it. So everybody, Team Lilac.
All right, now time to introduce Team Amber. With player 1, we have Donald Yu coming in from UH Esports. He also goes by Unision. And he is, actually, fun fact about him, he's actually the highest ranked player out of all these players. We told him to don't go too hard on the players, just have a little fun. Next, coming in from HPU, we have Maika Murakami. His in-game name is Japanese Jungler. age 19. Fun fact, he is Japanese and he's a jungler. Next, we have Kavi'i Ikioka coming in from UH Esports, age 19, and he is the blank. Fun fact, he just does jujitsu for fun after he beats people on League. Next, from HPU, we have William Rebello Garnaas, age 18. He goes by Mindless Electron. Fun fact, he's been playing this game for about 4 or 5 years, so he's also just as experienced as Tracy. Last but not least, coming in from HPU, we have Sean Kanata. In-game name is I'm Not Vegan. Fun fact, I'm sure he is not vegan. Yep, that is Team Lilac, everybody. All right, now time to pass it over to Kelly.
Thanks, everybody. So, as you know, the highly competitive nature of esports, to kind of retain player integrity, we're now graciously asking everybody to exit the room as the players take their positions. The stream will be readily available outside, and Kyler and I are going to start doing our thing. So, thank you, everybody.
League of Legends is a team-oriented strategy game. The goal is to work together with your teammates to bring down the enemy nexus, located in the middle of their base before your opponents take down yours. That sounds straightforward, but how you get there isn't, so let's walk you through the basics. You'll start by choosing one champion from a list of many, all of whom have their own unique strengths and personalities. Some are ranged marksmen, pelting their opponents from a safe distance, or burly fighters who like to get up in their opponents' faces. Others are arcane mages, casting powerful spells to trap and damage their enemies. However you like to get things done, there's a champion out there to match your style. During the game, champions get stronger in 2 ways, the first of which is leveling up. You gain experience by being in the area when enemies die, and each level of experience gives you an ability point. Assign these points as you level up to unlock all of your abilities and make them stronger. At level 6, you can unlock your ultimate ability, which can change the tide of the game. The second way to get stronger is buying items. Items are bought at the shop in your base using gold earned from killing enemies during a match. Once you've bought an item, it goes straight into your inventory and you immediately gain its benefits and power up. If you don't know which items to buy, you can check the recommended tab in the store for some pretty good stuff for your champion. Once you know your way around the shop, feel free to experiment with different item combos as you develop your own style. But if you ever get lost, the recommended tab has your back. When you start the game, you and your team will appear in the fountain. This is also where you'll respawn if your champion dies. This is a pretty safe place that restores your health and mana and provides access to the shop we just talked about. You start off the game with some gold, so grab some items right away and return to the shop when you've earned enough to buy more or to upgrade items you already own. Once you've got your starting items, you'll head to one of the 3 lanes, commonly called bot for bottom, mid for middle, and top for top. Between the lanes is the jungle, a shadowy area filled with powerful monsters that can beat the heck out of an unprepared champion. Slaying these creatures will give you gold, experience, and some pretty sweet buffs. But they do fight back, so stay in the lanes until you feel strong enough to take them on. Each lane is a path between the two bases, guarded by a set of powerful turrets. You'll need to destroy your enemy's turrets to get into their base and take down their nexus. That's easier said than done though. Those turrets are perilous, and even the most powerful champion will melt if targeted by one. To safely take them down, you need to stay behind your minions. Minions are computer-controlled units that march relentlessly down all lanes, engaging any enemies in their path. Your opponents have minions too, and you're gonna want to stomp them. You'll get experience when they die, but only the killing blow, commonly called the last hit, will earn you gold, so time your attacks carefully. Once you and your minions push up to an enemy turret, you'll have a few moments to damage it while it attacks your minions. If you're in range of the turret without any minions around, it will attack you, so be aware of your position. Also, if you attack an enemy champion while in range of the turret, it will change its focus to attack you, even if your minions are around. Working with your minions to siege enemy turrets is your main objective if you're looking to crack their base. But watch out for enemy champions. Like you, they have items and abilities and feelings to help them stop your advance and make their way to your nexus. If you manage to take an enemy champion down, however, they are worth a nice chunk of gold. Sometimes things don't go as planned. Maybe an enemy champion gets the drop on you, or maybe you take one too many turret shots. Whatever the case may be, if your champion dies, you'll have to wait for your death timer to expire before respawning back in your base's fountain. This timer increases as the game goes on. Dying early in a match only requires a few seconds of timeout, while a death later on could result in a 30-second penalty or even longer. Don't worry though, you don't lose any items, gold, or experience on death, and you can even buy items while waiting to respawn. Of course, killing your enemies also takes them off the map for a brief period, giving you the perfect opportunity to advance and demolish their turrets. That's the basics of League of Legends. Get money, buy stuff, and wreck their base, all while battling against a team of opponents trying to do the exact same things to you. A combination of skill, speed, and intelligence will lead you to the opponent's nexus and to victory. Then, you can start a new game and do it all over again. There's a lot more to the world of League of Legends though. A diverse community full of all kinds of people. A competitive rank system to test your skills, either solo or with a team of friends, an ever-expanding roster of champions to explore and master, and even a professional esports scene where the best players in the world gather to play on a massive stage in front of thousands of fans. It all starts with your first game. So hit that big play button and start a game. At first, you'll have co-op versus AI available. Select intro bots for your first few games to help you learn the ropes. Try a few different champions. Each is different, but there's nothing like finding a champion you really click with. After you feel comfortable, you can try other co-op difficulties or start playing against other human beings. See you in the fields of justice, and welcome to League of Legends.
Okay, so draft is about to start. The teams are getting ready. This is good. Okay, so we are good. So they can. So I think it's more so they can hear us outside now. Is what this was. I think stream might have been hearing us, but maybe not the guys in the overflow. So all right, we have this. So we'll use this for now to kind of get us rolling with the broadcast and whatnot. But as we can see it there, yep, here we are. The teams are getting ready. We actually, so they told me, the funny thing is, so you see JJ over here. So Amber actually got another coach from UH. So there wasn't. So we've got the coaches. So that if you guys are wondering who the guys are standing behind them and walking around, that is the coaches that are going to be walking them through the pick and ban.
Yeah, that's terrific. I mean, like I was saying earlier, this is the part, even strategically, as fans. Oh, here we go, and here's the draft, the live draft. So there is a phase where one team will actually get to ban certain champions that the other team will be unable to pick. And so that's the phase we're going through right now. And then shortly after that, they will highlight the champion that they would like to play with, and the draft happens in unison, so it's one at a time. So somebody just banned. Oh, I see the Evelyn ban happening there. So Evelyn is a champion in the jungle usually. Oh, a Lulu ban, so support ban, which Kyla will say. I don't know if that's common, but
no, yeah, no, absolutely. And I think this is where. So for those of you that are wondering, I
mean, I can barely contain myself. Oh, the Ari ban happening on this side, so mid lane.
I know.
And then the Twitch ban on the other side. So Twitch is oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, Twitch is like I was mentioning, a range champion. So that's probably one of the players who will be using a range champion themselves. So.
Yeah, no, and I think so. One of the fun things about this, right, about what we're watching on the screen right now, is that at the professional level, right, this is always a very interesting part of the thing because there's certain characters that are always the strongest. Like, there's just the best as the game progresses, and the fun thing about the game is that they're always making these little changes, right? Certain characters get stronger, certain characters they make weaker, just to make the game more interesting, right? They call them patches and so on. And actually, we just had a patch that came through, but basically that's what kind of affects what these guys pick and ban and so on and so forth. And now we're actually starting to see. So these are lock-ins, meaning that these are the champions. These are the characters that they will be playing in the game, in the match. So already Irelia being picked up for a team of Lilac. So traditionally a top laner. So maybe we can talk about that a little bit, Kelly. When we talk about the lanes, an interesting part about this game is that people have assignments. They have roles, right? If you think like in basketball, right, you've got the point guard, you've got the defender, right? There's all these different roles in the game, and this is we're starting to see some of these roles come through as the draft starts to roll out.
Yep. So yeah, like the equivalent of there's a top lane, a middle lane, and a bottom lane. And so top is a 1v1 competition, and as they're playing, they're actually facing each other, but trying to gain levels. And the way they gain levels is by taking by killing these computer-based robots called minions. And so even that requires skill because you got to get the last hit on these wave of minions that come. And as you go, you can get hit by the other opposing laner. So it is very interesting, and we'll get into it. But this is, for me, I mean, this is, Kyler's been through this so many times, but I wanted to just say, holy cow, like, this is unusual. And, usually the roles wouldn't be revealed, but, we had the Japanese jungler who said he's a jungle main.
He is a jungler, yeah.
And Senna being, that character is a very highly unusual pick if you are playing in the jungle. So I'm not sure about the role assignment, but that's it. Yeah, we'll get to see what happens there.
Yeah, no. So the fun thing about this though is that because of draft, they get to swap, right? They'll be able to swap. They'll be able to swap. So not necessarily there might not be something where these guys are locked into their characters, right? They're not necessarily going to be playing the exact things, and who knows, right? They might throw a wrench in it. They might change up their roles. That's another fun thing of like. Traditionally, yes, you'll be a career, AD carry or a jungler, a top laner, all these different roles and all these different responsibilities. But as it stands, these guys have the option to kind of move around, right? Because of the nature of this event, because of what we're watching, these guys will be able to change some stuff up. And who knows, right? We'll see what's going on. I mean, strategically, for those of you that do watch the game, I'm curious about the Lilia and the Wukong here on Team Amber's side. Yeah, traditionally, either one of them could be jungle, right? We've seen Wukong jungle recently. He has been played a lot. But, at the same time, laning Lilia is a thing, right? Laning Wukong is a thing. So either way, this could go. And all right, and then obviously with the lock-in now, Sivir being an AD carry, so a champion that does a lot of attack damage, right? She does a lot of her stuff through just basic auto attacks and things like that. Bottom lane locked in for Team Amber. Still to be determined on Team Lilac side.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So just more context if you missed the introduction to League of Legends. So there is a wild card in all this in the 5v5 called the jungle. And so there is a champion that stays in a portion of the map that really cannot be seen by any of the laners until they reveal themselves. So if you're 1v1 in the top and or mid lane, there is a time when the jungler could just appear and try to 2v1 the opposing player. Now, good players know, and they have map awareness. They know where the other jungler is and kind of what they're doing. So it's in higher competition, it's pretty rare to see the 2v1 death occur more often than not. So it's going to be fireworks, I think, with that team. I mean, these champions, there are varying degrees of complexity and skill of what it takes to play. And so I can already tell you this is going to be exciting for me. I mean, those Diana there, oh man, she's a duelist. So it's very, you have to be skilled like, and the button pushing, it's split-second decisions. Oh man, it's gonna be exciting. So
Yeah, no, I mean, that's always something key to
and there's the
watch.
swap
Yeah, see,
there,
there's
so
the
there's
swap.
swap in
It
the
is.
mid.
Oh, yeah, looking like it's gonna be a Jungle Diana potentially. We're still not 100% sure on that, but yeah, that's something worth noting as well, right? That there are certain characters that require those split-second decisions, right? That's how their abilities, that's how the character is designed. That it's meant to be very, very high skill ceiling, right? If you were the best of the best, you could figure out these champions and you could make them, you know, really something unique. And then also there's characters that are designed for more of, you know, the intro level players, right? They're designed to be simple to use, but can also be used in a competitive setting depending on, you know, again, how they balance those numbers like we talked about earlier. And looking at the team comp here from Team Lilac looks very interesting and overall very, very. I think we'll have plenty of time to dive into this.
Hope so.
Yeah, when we
I
get.
hope so. I mean, I'm boiling with excitement. So before I want to mention that yes, every player has special abilities, and the player triggers these abilities by pressing, you know, one of the cues.
So, okay, no, yeah.
Still
so
going.
It looks like,
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. And I think that's going to be a fun part.
But every player also has the ability to unleash an ultimate ability, which can at times, you know, really change the flow of the game. And so it'll be exciting to see this team composition.
Yeah, no, should be very exciting. Should be a lot of fun. But with that said, we will be taking just a short little bit of a break for those of you in the outside room and at home. There is a spectator delay for competitive integrity, so we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. As you can see on the clock, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Here inside our booth here, inside of the Waipahu Public Library, we have Kaysen Padilla, who is the executive director of Hawaii Esports Alliance and one of the sponsors here of the True Esports Tech Lab initiative. So, Kaysen, let's talk about this because, first of all, Hawaii Esports Alliance, pretty new to the scene here. So let's talk about what the Hawaii Esports Alliance is.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Keegan. It's funny, you say it's new, and obviously HEA is a new thing, but I don't like calling the group new because really it's a combination of all of the leaders here who've been doing the groundwork for upwards of a decade, and we're just coming together like, hey, let's make this happen.
And it's a great initiative. I know I've seen a couple of things, right? You have some of the high school coaches. Iolani's in there. I know Kyler Tando, who's casting as well. He's the Honolulu coach. I know he's in there as well. But you got plenty of high schools involved. I know you have the University of Hawaii involved. You have HPU involved. So really HEA is kind of more of a centerpiece for everything when you take a look at the web, because the web of all the teams, of all the coaches and stuff like that, because you are here at the Tree Esports Lab, Tech Lab, and that web can reach out to HEA. So for you guys, what is that reach looking like in the future for you guys?
Yeah, so we are an advisory group first. We want to be there to help guide the conversation, not so much lead it by ourselves, right? We don't want to be the elitist group. We want everyone who wants to be involved in esports to have that agency, and we just want to be the catalyst for that. So yeah, I think near future, I'd say, obviously we've got the high school leagues and whatnot, but what we're doing here at True, we got to get to the community, right? We got to be there. The libraries they've been a fantastic partner. It's so cool to see people kind of coming out of the woodwork, like, oh, hey, I play games. Yeah, I get this. I know the space, and seeing that from angles we haven't expected it before, and everyone being on the same page about it, it's really cool to see.
Yeah, and you've got everybody on the same, speaking of the same page, right? You have all these eyes. You're looking out at the crowd right now, all the eyes that are on the game itself, on the stream, and then you have the Twitch stream up, the Ōlelo stream up, as well as our stream. You look at all the eyes coming from the community inside of this one place. What does that mean to you, seeing how bright this future could be?
Yeah, I was telling Sky earlier, it's a little surreal. It feels weird to be here and seeing the governor and seeing big names like Paul and everyone just being excited about the future of esports. It's hard to think it's anything but bright. We're making it happen. It's happening right now.
All right, and well, so that'll do it for Kaysen Padilla here. We'll get one or two more people in here to wrap things up and talk about it. But Kaysen, I appreciate your time.
And as it stands now, pretty even game.
Very even game, and we missed that kill in the mid lane. However, with how many neutral objectives there are, as you mentioned. Oh, and another fight breaking out at the bottom lane. Oh my God! So what a nice, what a nice team fight there happening.
Okay, no, yeah. So It looks like, yeah, it ends up being a big trade, right? A big kill for Team Lilac. They get the jungler down, but up in the top side, it is a kill for the side of Team Amber. They trade it back one for one.
Trade it back 1-for-1.
Yeah, and that's the strategy.
Yep, that is the strategy. There's another neutral objective there called, or well, is it neutral? I mean, what would you say the Rift?
Rift Herald's neutral.
Rift,
Yeah, I told
Rift
it's a
Herald's
neutral
also
objective.
neutral. Yeah. So the Rift Herald, if you're brave enough to go and take it, will give you a special item called the Rift Herald that will allow you to hit the other player's towers and/or inhibitors, causing massive amounts of damage. So usually it's the jungler that leads the fight for the Rift Herald and/or the dragon, like in these neutral objectives, as Kyler mentioned. Wow, so the bot lane getting completely pushed in now. And a nice punish there on the way out by both the Nami punish on the way out there.
Ends up being a good trade, right? A trade of objective, trade of gold, right?
Yeah.
But I think here's something to think about, and here's something to talk about maybe, is that we are approaching what we would call the mid game, right? This is where the team fight phase comes into play, and this is where that team aspect of it all starts to come into the factor of it, right?
Exciting, yes.
And that's, yeah, like you said, that's where this gets exciting as these teams start to compete. But then instead, Duel in the mid lane, Cinnamon taking up a bit of damage, throws out the
Wukong using his
ultimate.
clone ability. And let's see,
Ignite out, flash
out, very nice, very nice. So almost even ignited. Will he survive? Yes.
Yeah, he's out. He's out
to survive.
Oh, she's out actually.
She's out. She
That's
got
Tracy,
out.
yeah.
She got out. Yeah. Very nice. Nice exchange there.
Ends up working out for them, but yeah, still very close. Is now down in the bot
gank
side.
Coming.
Another
it's a
gank.
3v2, and here we go. This looks interesting here.
Yeah.
Wow. Senna just unleashing the ability there. Wow, that was beautifully executed. That's like, when you, I mean, it's like beginning of the second quarter and, game's close, you call a special play. And that was executed to perfection right there.
Very well done.
By,
very well.
Team Amber.
What they would call a gank, right?
Yes.
In the scheme of League of Legends, when the jungler comes in and helps the rest of the team, that's what you would call a gank. That ends up happening, and it works out for them in the overall scheme of it. But now, looking at it here.
Now they want to engage top, I think.
Yeah, as we see it now, they are going to just start moving around. So clearing out jungle, right? Clearing out different parts of the map. But we are seeing a gold advantage now for Team Amber.
Yes. So it's a 4-2. 4 kills to 2 now, so hence why the gold advantage. A little bit over a 1k gold advantage for Team Amber, which, again, simply gives them an item advantage, allowing them to become stronger either offensively, defensively, or both.
Yeah, and so we actually, the observer was actually trying to, or Henry was trying to show us that we actually are able to tell who's ahead, who's behind, right? When we bring up the gold overlay, it does show, which members are performing better than others. Just, as similar as you would in like your basketball stats, right? Who's hitting their points, who's hitting their shots. Well, that's what we're able to tell with the gold graphs and all of that, and seeing how everybody stands. But as we're talking about it, Team Lilac getting a good hold of the neutral objectives, right? They've got 2 dragons now. On the top side, we'll see in trade, though, right? This is where that strategy comes in. Team Amber picking up the Rift Herald for themselves.
Yes. However, not to be, yep.
Oh, well, actually, we might end up having
a small fight here for the Rift Herald.
Yep, there goes the ultimate from Japanese jungler.
Oh, wow.
Getting some damage.
And the Seraphine ult. Oh, my gosh. On
huge taunt. Pack Games forced to flash over the wall. They want to get some more damage out.
2 kills there. Wow, and the Seraphine ends the game. Well, I mean, ends that fight with a beautiful ult from the top lane, which I think will give up the Rift Herald. So 6-2 now in kills. 6-3 now. Nice kill. Flash away. Wow, by 6. Beautiful fight down in bottom lane. As you mentioned, though, now Lilia having the ability to take the Rift Herald, right? Trading neutral objectives. One team took the dragon, the other will take the Rift Herald. So this is part of the unseen map, right? That you really can't see unless you have those wards placed strategically.
And worth noting too, right? All the timing of that is what I think ends up being the determinant factor, right? For Team Lilia. or Team Lilac, I'm sorry, that's going to be confusing. I just realized we have Team Lilac, but there's a Lilia in the lobby.
Yeah.
But for Team Lilac, right,
Yeah.
they just they get to the fight a little bit late, right? A little bit
late,
staggered.
little late, yeah.
Pack Games, Nevin not able to get there fast enough, not able to support Tracy on Cinnamon, right? And because of that, it gives them the team fight victory. It gives the Team Amber the kills. It gives them the neutral objective in the Rift Herald. And now, first brick, aka the first turret to fall, is almost down in the mid lane, and that's going to open up the map for Team Amber.
Yes, sir. So the turret's falling. In case we missed the introduction, but the turret, if an enemy player comes into turret range, it does a considerable amount of damage automatically. So hence why we see players kind of congregating around their turret, because if the enemy player enters turret range, it does help them considerably in terms of damage to the opponent.
Yeah, no, it could be. Yeah, does give them that advantage. Does give all of these, these small incremental advantages over to the teams, and over time, that's what ends up building up. Is now team fight.
And here we have another 3v3 happening.
But here comes
Pack
Games around the
everywhere.
backside.
Oh, the Lilia all drowsing and sleeping Ziggs too far away. And we see a stopwatch built earlier. So if you wow.
Yeah. Immediately shut down coming in, but the TP around the backside means that Gragas is going to come into the fight now. Nuke flashes forward, gets a little bit of damage, but they're forced back. Instead, Atomic Shadow trying to get some damage out on the backside, not able to do it, and that means Team Amber comes up with a huge team fight win. 3 for 1.
3 for 1, yeah, even with that stopwatch. So I should mention that item known as the stopwatch and or Zanya's Hourglass is highly controversial because people feel it's a little bit too overpowered. But so for a period of time, when you push the button, it prevents your champion from any damage. So as the team fight's occurring, it can be very disruptive to the other team, causing, it can change the course of a team fight. However, we didn't see it there.
Yeah, ends up not working out. But overall, though, still, now we're starting to see the advantages starting to stack up for Team Amber, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that starts that play. They're the ones that's the proactive ones to pick where they fight, right? They pick that fight. It gives them the advantage. It forces Team Lilac to respond.
Right.
And they're just a little too slow to the party.
Yeah, seems like it at this point. And so we see top tower already gone. So Seraphine has won the laning phase. Would you say that she's won the laning phase?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair though, it's a range champion, right? In Seraphine against a melee champion in Gragas.
Right. That's a tough matchup.
It should be an advantage, but actually, as we're seeing it now, mid lane ends up being a double kill for the bottom side. Yeah, the bot lane goes down. Cinnamon. She's picking up some kills there.
Roaming, it was very nice. That was very nice. Good strategy there. So Irelia now 3-1, so 3 kills to 1 death, doing really good. That was a good roam. Did she roll, or she got it in the mid lane?
They just rolled up to her and ended up being an advantage now.
So she outplayed them. Would you say that she outplayed?
I think that was an outplay.
Yeah,
I think Pack Games was around, right? I think Nevin was there, but still works out in their favor, and now it's actually bringing the gold a little bit closer.
Pretty close.
So yeah, for those of you that are trying to figure out who's ahead, who's behind, right now Team Amber a little bit ahead, but because of the neutral objectives, like Kelly was saying, in the Dragons, now it's an advantage to Team Lilac, and we might actually see a team fight.
We might actually see another team fight for a neutral objective, like you were saying earlier, right? With these team fights happening for the Dragon, and it's a 2-0 advantage for Team Lilac.
But here we go. There's a nice route onto Pack Games. Nevin's in the back. Cyclone is there. A lot of damage going across. There goes the tidal wave, but it's a complete wash for the side of Team Amber.
Nice Gragas ability though in there.
Yeah, gets a lot of damage across, but he's not able to do it, and that means Team Amber gets the team fight, gets the Dragon. Now they're ahead.
Yeah. And they picked up the Dragon too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so now even more advantage for the side of Team Amber. But I mean, the question there really was, where did they go wrong, right? And that's where I think let's break that down a little bit, because really, to me, the Gragas was late, right? If you look at it, the team fight was starting up right at the top part of the river, and then they're just not able to get into the fight in time, right? They're not able to work as a team. They're not able to get there in time. Right. And that's why we see the team fight being so one-sided towards the side of Team Amber. The backline from Lilac was just not able to get involved.
Yeah, so do you think I commented on that ability. Gragas' ability looked like just for a second there he was 1v4ing, 1v5ing. If he had done that earlier, do you think that fight might have gone differently?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
right? If you
okay.
think about it, right, the explosive cast, right, Gragas' ultimate, right? When you were talking about ultimate abilities earlier in the day, that's such a big, impactful ability, right? It can displace so many people from the team or from the enemy team. It gives them so many advantages, and you know, at a point in the beginning of the fight, had that been, you know, I think the catalyst to it all, maybe then that creates the advantage that Lilac needs to get their damage across. But because it's not there, because they're not able to fight as a 5-man unit, Amber ends up being the ones that gets the objective, gets the team fight. And now, we'll talk about this a little bit. There is a little bit of a comeback mechanic that we're going to see here.
Yes, sir.
Objective bounties.
Yeah, objective bounty claim. So, you want to explain?
Oh, no,
the,
go ahead.
so,
No, I'm enjoying listening to you explain all this.
So as the team that's a little behind, taking objectives that normally wouldn't reap a gold benefit does in the event that they fall behind. So that is, you know, League of Legends level setting the playing field, if you will, to not let one team completely run away with the gold advantage by providing these time-based objective bounties. You can see that blue money
actually,
bag.
hold on,
Oh
we
my
have
god!
another
There's
team
a
fight.
wow! Look at the
damage.
Huge damage, as you said. The early fight. Wow!
Yeah, it's now second half of the fight breaking
Second
out.
half.
My
And
heart's
who's going to
yours.
take the rift? So it is
Yeah.
still possible that people, you know, hit the objective as the fight's happening. ADC just
Great
what
auto
a nice
attack,
auto, nice kiting ability there. Being displayed.
bubble.
Huge
And the
bubble
rift
by
arrow.
Nami's support. Oh my gosh. Wow, that fight I think probably will change the complexion of the game. But wow, what and they got, man, this is another thing worth
gets the Rift
explaining.
Herald. Yep.
Gets the Rift Herald in time
Yep.
before the other objective spawns.
No, yeah, and I gotta wonder on that one, because that to me was Team Amber, right? Forcing the play, right? They said, we are going to force this. This is how we want the game to happen out. They try to take another advantage off the map for themselves, and Lilac is there to punish. This time they're grouped. This time they're able to fight as a team, right? Pack Games and Cinnamon go in together, and then as the rest of the team is able to follow up, it creates this huge advantage for them. They're able to clean up the team fight. I mean, really, once those first few kills were across the board, that was it for Team Amber, right? They weren't going to be, they were on the back foot after minute 1 from that team fight. And now, yeah, like you said, it brings them back in the game. The gold difference at the top of your screen, 2,000 only really being the difference. At this point in the game, huge, right? Team Lilac very much back in.
Oh no, that was a huge, it's a, you know, like anything else, it's also a confidence booster. I mean, they won that team fight, got the objective. Oh, and here
Blank
we go.
might have got too
Wukong.
confident. Yeah, burns
Wukong,
Cyclone
Wukong,
already. There's the
Wukong.
pop-up. Gets more damage
Does he
across.
still have his ult, so... Oh,
there's the pull in there.
Pull
Pack
in
Games
there,
uses
trying to
it,
avoid,
pulls him in.
trying to avoid.
Ooh,
Wukong still gets
actually-
a kill and the heal. Very nice.
Still getting a lot of damage.
Wow.
What an
Wukong.
outplay.
2v1, yes, outplay indeed.
Yeah, that is where, unfortunate, if you're on the side of Team Lilac, they thought they had that.
Oh,
right?
they thought
Pack
they-
Games
2v1.
coming in,
It's a 2v1.
Yeah,
2v1.
2v1. And just doesn't end up working out for them. I think just because of the amount of healing that comes out from the side of the blank. You know, Wukong, not traditionally known for a lot of healing, but because of the build, right? So when we talk about items, he's able to get items that gives him back life every time he gets or does some damage.
Right.
It allows him to stay alive, keeps him in the game. And now the biggest neutral objective, which I know you didn't even get a chance to talk about yet, right? Well, you can break it down in a second.
Yeah.
Team Amber now has the largest advantage on the map.
Yes, so the Baron Nashor, as you notice, as these players move around, they have a purplish, glowing circular sphere around their characters. So if they come in distance, close proximity to what I was explaining earlier about minions, the minions will get strong. And another team fight,
Hang on, another
let's
team
do
fight.
this.
Cinnamon
and
goes
lasagna
in.
is being cracked.
Yeah,
Really,
immediately
Lilia
goes
off
out.
Immediately.
Huge damage though on the back line.
Big
Cinnamon doing
Irelia
work.
kill on Seraphine, and here we go. Cut. Wow.
Yeah, it ends up being an ace for the side of Team Amber.
Wow,
Not able to do it. Desperation play coming in from Team Lilac.
Desperation play. Yeah.
I mean, overall, though, I mean, to be fair, though, to their point, if you're going to go for it, that might have been their best opportunity, right? I mean, you could maybe say, wait out the Baron, give over this dragon. It's not worth losing the game over. But they felt like they had a pick, right? They felt like they had that small split-second advantage to go for it. It ends up not working for them. But still, overall, now Team Amber gets to push. They get to start taking turrets. They get to use the minions.
And the Baron buff.
Yep.
And the Baron still, as I mentioned, empowering the minions as they're in proximity.
Yeah, but here we go. Pack Games jumps back in.
Pack Games doing a good job defending here.
Yep. Pushes them off. Saves the inhibitor turret.
Saves the inhibitor. That's big. That was big. So, you know, something else we're not seeing are the player pings, right? We're not seeing the ability for players to mark the map with special kind of like indicators, you know, saying, hey, I'm here, or hey, I just died, but go after this guy, right? Because his health is low. So kind of not seeing that. I thought we saw that with the Wukong outplay there earlier, top lane.
So it does show up over here.
I'm sorry.
No, but you're good. No, you're good. It doesn't show up on the map. So you got or on the main screen.
Right.
So you got to watch the mini map if you want to see the pings. But yeah, a very important mechanic I think that League added in.
Very important.
Yeah, with the ping system that. For a long time, they were the only ones doing it, really, right? Not a lot of things were able to be pinged out like that. They really made that a comprehensive system, and so far, yeah, it's worked out.
What do you think of this? What do you think of this strategy here? So Rift Herald timing probably expiring. They're gonna get a hit at least on the tower. So nice defense there. Yeah, I guess.
I think if you're Team Lilac, you're a little bummed about that one.
Bummed about that one.
You would have liked to see it used elsewhere, right? You would have liked to see it. Kind of pushed into a turret when you can have an advantage.
And destroy
right?
the turret.
Yeah, when you get a team fight win. But as it stands now, not able to do it. Right? They're not able to get anything with it. It doesn't give them any advantages. And unfortunately for them, they are starting to slip back in terms of gold. Right? I draw your attention again to the top of the scoreboard. We're seeing the numbers starting to shift towards Team Amber, right? They're getting stronger. They're doing a lot more with what they have. They're getting more items, which in turn means that they themselves are stronger. And that's the question mark. That's the concern if you're a fan on Team Lilac side. If you're trying to back the underdog, right, so to speak, in this matchup, Team Lilac needs to find a big team fight win if they want to get themselves back in the game.
Right. When, in your opinion, is the time to make that happen? So is it for the next neutral objective, the Dragon Spawn coming up in about 2.5 minutes? So do they hang back for 2.5 minutes? Oh boy!
Here we go. This could be a team fight.
Wow, this is a team fight.
Explosive cast goes out. They're going to look for the damage. Big ultimate from Pack Games gets the damage across. As now the Dawning Shadow goes out. A lot of damage up front. Cinnamon trying to clean up in the back line. Can she get one? No. Can't do it. And that means Amber cleans it up.
Senna escaping there at the last minute. Yeah, so here we go. So that big, team fight, as we were saying earlier, Team Lilac looking for some kind of advantage, by winning a team fight here. But I think maybe Team Amber is too far ahead, too strong here.
I mean, you never. I think I always have a rule. Yeah, never say never in anything below the pros, because even in the pros we've seen it. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think. The good old-fashioned game of baseball, it comes to mind here. How well can you throw is what comes to mind. But anyway, I mean, it's still anything's possible, right?
Anything
is possible.
I agree. Anything's possible. That team fight kind of just happening, or was that a strategy?
I don't think that was planned, right?
Yeah.
I think Nevin, right? Pack Games 808 thought that they had the opportunity, right? Saw some people on the map and was forced into a play, right? Otherwise, he probably gets engaged on. They probably start the fight around him. If they pick him off early, he can't get anything done, and it ends up being, a loss overall. Yeah. Instead, they try and make the play, and I think that, to me, it's a sign of life, right? You never want to see the team give up. You never want to see them just back off and leave one of their teammates to just die. Obviously, at certain scenarios, there will be times when you have to, right? It's somebody gets picked out. There's no way you're going to be able to save them. But for this instance, I think it showed that there's still a chance, right? They still are able to get some damage off.
Still a chance.
All eyes on Cinnamon, right? The Irelia got a lot of damage down across in that fight. In another scenario where maybe she's able to get more damage down consistently, that's when they've got
might
chance.
actually pick up that kill in a different scenario. Yeah.
I mean, the kill resets if she starts getting resets off.
She starts getting resets.
Oh man.
So here another drag. I feel another team fight coming up, although the Nami and the Wukong kind of stuck in the other jungle, but I believed it. Wow, and a
Seraphine
nice
goes
dodge.
wide.
Seraphine misses her ultimate there.
Yep, huge missed ultimate there.
Huge burned ult in that scenario. Wukong getting punished, and Noob trying to come up from
I don't know,
down
this could
low.
be their
Gragas
chance.
got to get there. Gragas is coming in quick.
Yeah, Pack Games takes a lot of damage, though. They're not able to get the damage across, and that means the rest of the backline is there. Cinnamon goes in, she gets dropped, and the rest of the squad goes down. It's a nice counter kill from Ziggs. But Atomic Shadow not able to finish it off. Gets a lot of them low, but they don't close out on kills.
Yep.
So with that now...
Three drags to two
Drakes.
now. 3 Drakes to 2 now. Oh, and the Wukong.
Blank wants more.
Yeah, Blank's not... it's not over for him. Even using his sweeper there, so if you see that red spinning circle around him, it gives proximity vision to that champion in parts where... in the jungle. And parts of the map where wouldn't otherwise be visible.
Does give them a little bit of so it clears the vision, right? So you have ability to put vision down and you have ability to take vision away. But with that said now, and the team fight win, Team Amber, they're looking at Baron potentially. They're sweeping around.
Baron again.
Another
Baron.
If we talk about it, right, let's look at the vision and the map. Blue team, right, Team Lilac, they do not know what's going on. They have to check this constantly over and over again because just the thought that maybe Team Amber is on the Baron means that there's a chance they could take this objective, and with that, then it's almost like guaranteed. Yeah, that's you're done, right? Yeah. But now, so they got to be really careful, and you're seeing the teams positioned this way. They're trying to be very cautious about where they end up putting themselves.
I mean, if you notice Team Amber just congregating around, it's an indicator they're taking the Baron. So they are going after it, and they'll probably get it, or.
Yeah, it looks like the call is if they're gonna fight it, they're gonna fight it. They're
gonna go for it. Wow, Seraphine all right in front, and they take down the Baron.
Huge ultimate from the Seraphine.
Huge ultimate. She made up for that miss there earlier for sure with that ult.
Yeah, Unison ended up picking that one up. Means that the rest of the squad is able to do it, and I think that's a story to tell about this. When we talk about pick ban, right, the ability to decide what characters you play, that was a huge counter pick into the Irelia and the Diana, right? Unison Donald picking that up means that the Diana and the Irelia, anytime they want to go in, there's this charm waiting for them. Right? And it's just going to be the instant. What are you going to do? You can't
what can
go
you
in.
do?
Yeah.
You know what other strategies? I mean, Flash as a spell to maybe get behind her. I don't know.
Flash, Banshees, maybe, or you can itemize against that potentially. But even then, right? A Banshees is hard to get rid of.
Right.
You'd need either maybe a Zonia's or something. Mobility,
Yes, I think that's
getting around that. But even then, it's still pretty tight. All right, let's see here now. 31 minutes into this one. The game might be over soon. Hard to say. We'll
Hard
see
to say.
what happens.
They look like they're gearing up for defense here. They're looking up for, a defensive team fight, potentially getting some picks off the, defending their base.
Worth noting, right? As long as the inhibitor turrets are up, as long as the inhibitor is up, nothing drastic has been lost. But as it stands, the rest of the red team, right, Team Amber, are grouping up together. They're staying as a unit, trying to keep their distance before the rest of the team fight breaks out.
Yeah.
Right, as it stands, everyone else still moving around the map slowly. This is where this becomes a little more tense for the players, right? This is where one mistake could cost you the game, right?
Absolutely.
Especially if you're on Team Amber's side.
Absolutely. And so what do you make of the top lane, or Irelia in the top lane pushing out, given the fact that the other team has, the advantage? Oh, well, here's...
Yeah, Blank actually could be in a bad spot here. That he chooses to he chooses to play with fire a little bit. He's just gonna hang out
after the outplay. I think he's trying to send a message that he's a duelist. He's very good.
Let's talk about that a little bit. That is a fun aspect about this, that some of these players get to show, is that when they're ahead, right, when they're feeling that, when they're the heat check, right, I think is what you call it in basketball, right? That's kind of what it is. What that play was for the Blank. He was able to live and outplay a 2-versus-1 scenario. He knows he's not in trouble. He can stay down there all he wants. He's solid. He's good. He's not worried about anybody else, because for the side of Team Lilac to stop him,
Right.
It's going to take 2, 3, 4 members potentially to get him off of that lane.
Sure.
All right, well, let's take a look at this here because now Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, right? If you look in the top left side of the screen, 25 seconds the timer. They are about to start up the next team fight. And if they get the Dragon Soul for Team Amber, you can pretty much count this one done and dusted. That means they're going to be so much harder
strong,
to kill.
so much more powerful. Yep. So talk about the buff real quick. Wait,
hang on. TP coming down. Yeah, we might see the team fight
teleport.
start out.
Yeah, I think we might see it earlier.
Here we go. Yeah, they're about to get rolling as now the rest of the squad moving around. They have started the Dragon. Team Amber wants to force this out, but Noob flash forward over. They're going in for it. Yeah, big team fight.
Big team fight. Huge team fight. The set.
Yeah, nice Seraphine ultimate does stun up and stun, but the Wukong blank in the backline picks up 1, picks up 2. The Wukong, like we were talking about, the heat check, he's feeling strong. He's feeling hot.
Too strong.
Forces the rest of the squad out, and just like that, they are forced to retreat. But it is a team fight win for Amber. It is a Dragon Soul claimed for Team Amber, and they are going to begin the victory march into the base.
Victory march, as you said. Yeah, we're seeing the inhibitor taken, as you said, a major objective there. And then dual towers right in front of the enemy's Nexus. Zanya's being popped.
There's the Zanyas, the last team fights, but this is it. The Nexus turrets will fall, and it will be Team Amber securing the victory for themselves.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Yeah, there
Very
it is.
well
Nexus
executed.
falls.
Yep, Nexus falls. Other base has been eliminated. Wow, great game. Great game. Textbook league game almost. So
yeah, there it is. And as we see them now, all the players commiserating and gathering in the pit as they speak to each other. But it is Team Amber that comes up with the victory. All these guys, of course, friends, right? Community. At the end of the day, these guys all play for Hawaii, right? They play in Hawaii. Yeah. They are having fun. We're seeing the coaches now, I think, going back in.
Yeah.
JJ, how's your team feeling? Oh, yeah, he's not looking too happy.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a great game, though, and got to see the mechanics. And like you said, Kyler, I mean, it's for Hawaii, right? I mean, what a great day pushing Hawaii esports, kind of into the forefront of our community, and letting people, sending the message out that, hey, come, you can experience what we just experienced here at the Waipahu Library.
Yeah, and that to me is still the trip, that we're in a library of all places, screaming our heads off. We've got guys playing esports back here. What more could you want? I mean, really a sign of things to come, hopefully. Right, with these initiatives and more.
Yeah.
But with that said, Kelly, any final words before we close out the day?
No, thank you so much. I want to just again reiterate the thanks to the True Initiative, our sponsors. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to Ōlelo. Thanks to this public library system, allowing us to even be here. But this program, again, not only esports, but as a catalyst towards digital literacy, will open on July 27th.
Well, there you have it, folks. So, yeah, July 27th. So if you are in the Waipahu area, or if you just want to come check out the finished and final product, you definitely want to be here July 27th and beyond, right? Yep. This is now a thing that is just going to be here. Yep. It's in the community now. It's there for you guys to use. So if you're in the area, you definitely want to check this out. But yeah, once again, thank you to everyone who make this event possible. So many people. Thank you to you, Kelly, actually, for coming on the desk with me.
And thank you. I think this is. I gotta tell you. I mean, this is like another dream come true to be here as Troy Aikman. I mean, and you as Joe Buck or whoever you want, whatever other parallels you want to draw towards mainstream sports. But I really appreciate it. Like I said, we got the Joe Buck of Hawaii esports here today, so I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you for the
awesome.
opportunity.
Yeah. Thanks for being here with me, and thanks for everyone outside. If you're still here in the library, thank you for attending. If you're watching from home, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting these local esports initiatives here in Hawaii. But with that said, that will ultimately close out the day for us on broadcast. Thank you all for watching. Have a safe rest of your Thursday, and we hope to see you at the next one. Take care, everybody.
Take care.